Hello and welcome everyone to this very first episode of the Empowered Podcast. I'm your host Emma and I'm so happy that you decided to tune in today and learn about women's health. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know me as the Cycle Syncing Fitness Girly. And if you don't know what that means, that is exactly what we're going to talk about in this episode. So it's going to be a packed one. So buckle up. Play this maybe in the background while you tend to your busy life. And without further ado, let's dive in, guys. In this first episode, we are going to go over all of the ins and outs of women's monthly cycle and how you can use it to your advantage. Start living in sync with your body and hormones and not feel like it's something you just have to live with and feeling like a victim at times, but instead feeling empowered by your natural rhythm. And this episode isn't only for the girlies, but also for the men out there that have girlfriends or sisters or any women in their life, really, because this is crucial information for you, my guys. So please bear with me and watch how everything suddenly explains your girl's behavior and how you can support your partner throughout the month and even level up your relationship. So before we start, a little backstory is needed about me. I started cycle syncing almost 3 years ago, shortly after stopping the pill. Hormonal birth control just wasn't doing it for me, to be honest. I had extremely low libido, at that age of 20, that's just sad. I felt completely disconnected to my body, and psychologically, taking a small pill every day that I knew were completely disrupting my natural hormonal pattern just didn't sit right with me anymore. Also, little story time is that when I decided I wanted to stop the pill, I went to the gynecologist to talk to her about it. And literally, the first thing she told me is that I was taking a huge risk, and she was totally unsupportive of my decision. So, yeah, that was just great. I really didn't feel listened to at all by a health professional, supposedly. So I decided to take matters into my own hands and I started learning about my body in order to try and find a regular cycle again, get rid of my hormonal acne, soothe my period cramps naturally, and simply feel connected with my body again. I started doing my own research. I started reading articles, reading books, and the game absolutely changed for me after reading the book In the Flow by Alyssa Vitti, who is the pioneer in the world of women's health. So she is a functional nutritionist and a hormone expert with over 25 years of experience in this topic. And she started off with severe hormonal issues herself and irregular periods. And she managed to heal herself after doctors were saying that there was no solution, she just had to live with it. And she was using the cycle syncing method. So the knowledge I've accumulated comes mostly from her extensive research. And if you want more details on the cycle syncing method, you can download my free ebook in the link in my bio on my Instagram at justempowered. And I'll make sure to link it somewhere in the show notes so you can download it and have everything written down. So let's start with a little vocabulary lesson. We're going to talk a lot about hormones in this episode, and there are many hormones women experience. But today, let's just focus on the main ones. Let's start with estrogen. Estrogen supports brain function, things like energy, confidence, and skin health. When it's high, you feel more focused and social and mentally sharp. Whereas progesterone promotes more like calm energy, better sleep, emotional stability, and it makes you feel more relaxed, grounded, and more inward focused. Testosterone is a hormone that boosts strength, libido, things like motivation and drive. You likely feel more powerful, assertive, and more confident. And this is men's main hormone, by the way. Then we have cortisol. So this is your primary stress hormone, and it's not a bad hormone. It's actually very healthy when it's in healthy amounts. So it helps with alertness and focus and energy, but when it's elevated for too long, it can cause anxiety, fatigue, and hormone imbalance. Now let's talk about our biological clocks. So men only have one, and it is the circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is only 24 hours, okay? Our internal clock that regulates sleep, hunger, body temperature, and energy levels throughout the day. So it follows the sun pattern, and like I said, this is men's main biological clock, actually is the only one they have. However, women, we actually have two biological rhythms, and the second one is called the infradian rhythm. So the infradian rhythm is a monthly biological rhythm unique to people with menstrual cycles. So if you're a woman that has periods, it affects your mood, your metabolism, your energy, your cognitive function across the 4 phases of the cycle. So this rhythm follows the moon, and it's a month-long rhythm. So basically, a woman's brain, metabolism, microbiome, reproductive system is constantly shifting every single day, and that every single month, starting from your first period until menopause. So, on that note, let's dive into the monthly cycle and how to plan your lifestyle and activities, as well as your workouts and meals around each phase of your cycle. Okay, so number one, the menstrual cycle, which is when you bleed, okay? So day one of your period is day one of your cycle. It can last between 3 to 7 days. Okay, everybody is different, every woman is different, and this is your inner winter. So think of each phase of your cycle as different seasons, okay? This helps with remembering what mindset to have. So during your period, your hormones will be at their lowest, which triggers a natural drop in energy. You might feel a little moody, right? So protect your peace, practice saying no without guilt, cancel any plans that don't feel right, and take the time alone to reflect, journal, and basically prepare for the month ahead. Okay, now for your workouts during your period. So this really depends on how you feel when you bleed, okay? So again, every woman is different. But for me personally, the first 3 days, I have a heavy flow usually. I have some cramps as well, lower back pain. So during that time, I am definitely not setting foot in the gym. I just feel self-conscious, and I would have to look back on every bench I've sat on. So instead, I will simply do some maybe stretching at home, maybe some yoga, a bit of Pilates, or simply just go for a walk or just, rest or nap. Definitely don't feel guilty for just chilling because your uterus, girl, she's literally shedding a lining. So she's doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Give yourself some grace and don't feel bad for taking care of yourself. Then towards the end of my period, so for me, starting day 3 or 4, my flow is getting lighter. I'm starting to feel more energized, so I might start by going for a short run or going to the gym and start lifting weights again. Take it slow, but definitely start moving as soon as you feel up to it because your body will thank you for that. Also, remember that some periods are more painful than others, so just listen to your body and do what feels right. In terms of food, so keep in mind that this is your inner winter, so you need to be eating warming meals, okay? Things like comfort food to support your metabolism and soothe cramps. So think of cooking your foods. Keep the salads and the smoothies for later. Right now, your body needs to stay warm. Also, you need to eat a lot of iron to make up for losing so much blood, you know? So I recommend to combine iron with ingredients high in vitamin C, okay? Because that will actually help your body to absorb the iron. So think to eat some beef or liver with some lemon juice on it, or cook some spinach with some lemon juice or lime and some herbs, or just have a bowl of berries on the side as your vitamin C. So I'm talking blueberries, blackberries, watermelon or kiwis. Nettles are also super high in iron, so nettle soup is also perfect for warming the body as well. In terms of carbs, I usually eat wild rice during this phase or some warm oats that you can top off with some berries, you know, to kind of boost your antioxidants. And one thing I also do throughout my cycle, which is super easy to do, is called seed cycling. And that basically is just eating different types of seeds in each phases, and that just helps support your hormones. And you know, it's super easy because I will just sprinkle them on any meal I'm having. So if you want to do that during your period, it will be sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. And remember, all of this is written down in the ebook. So if you don't feel like taking notes, just download it in the link below and you'll have everything summarized. Last thing I want to mention for the diet part is that if you are a coffee drinker or drink any caffeine on a daily basis, I would highly recommend you to switch to decaf during your period, because it really will not help your cramps if you do tend to suffer from painful cramps. Just, keep this in mind and maybe avoid energy drinks or coffee altogether. Okay, boyfriends, are you still listening? Are you still with us? Okay, this part is for you, my guys. Your girlfriends really need your support right now. She's in pain, she's uncomfortable, she might be a little mean to you, but please forgive her because it's just temporary. Give her a bit of space and maybe surprise her with a little grocery run. Buy her some dark chocolate. It's comforting and it kind of satisfies these cravings she might have. Cook her a warm comfort meal. Maybe do one of her chores, take extra good care of your queen during that time, keeping her warm with heating pads in bed, etc. You get the gist, right? We all thank you for your service. Moving on to phase 2. This is the follicular phase, people. We are officially back from hibernation. Energy starts to come through, okay, with the rise of our sweet estrogen. So this is as soon as you stop bleeding. This phase lasts for about 7 to 10 days before ovulation. This is your inner spring. So think of a fresh start feeling. You might feel extra creative, so let your wildest ideas come through. Write them down, start planning, dreaming, and organizing. Make sure to say yes to plans, because talking to people and going to social events will actually feel great. So make the most of your social butterfly era. Okay, so exercise-wise, this is your big she's back moment. Set foot back into that gym and slowly start to turn things up a notch. Lift some weights, go for a longer run, maybe try a new class you've been meaning to try. Once I went to a heels class during this phase, so this is really your time to explore and start implementing more and more movement in your daily routine. The point here is to exercise in a way that leaves you feel stronger and not necessarily drained, okay? So for your meals, during this time, focus on light and vibrant meals, okay? The kind of things you would start eating in spring. So you might have a little less appetite, so think of salads, fresh veggies like cucumber or carrots, lean proteins like turkey, white fish, or cottage cheese. You also need to be eating gut-friendly foods because that will help regulate your estrogen levels. So think of sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, matcha, For all you matcha girlies out there, this is your time to shine. For seed cycling, sprinkle on your salads and meals pumpkin seeds and flax seeds. Okay, boyfriends, listen up. You might notice your girl is being nice to you again, okay? This means she's starting to like you again. No, but this is your time to encourage her wildest dreams, okay? Celebrate the small wins with her. This is the time to support her riding that new wave of motivation and amazing brainstorming abilities. Send her a motivating morning text message. Maybe plan some activities with friends you have in common. Go work out with her. Go dancing with her. Try something new together. This is your time to explore as a couple as well. All right, ladies, we've arrived at everybody's favorite phase. You guessed it, ovulation, baby. This is your I don't chase, I attract phase. You are glowing, you're hot, and you know it. This is called your inner summer, of course. This is your prime. This is when estrogen and testosterone peaks and your body releases an egg around day 14 of your cycle. So if you want to have a baby, this is the time. Your libido will be at its highest, your confidence also at its highest. Time to network, pitch big ideas. Schedule these presentations because your superpower at this point is that you are extra persuasive. So enjoy it and maybe flirt a little, Say yes to showing up. Ovulation only lasts about 24 to 48 hours, but the mood will stay high a few days before and after that. So make the most out of it and don't forget to use protection, okay, ladies? Or don't if you want to start a family, Okay, so let's talk about your workouts. At this point, your body is thinking, let's have a baby. But I'm thinking, let's hit some PRs in the gym, baby. Your body is literally primed for peak performance. And it is the perfect time to challenge yourself physically and mentally, okay? So think of high intensity training. Try heavier weights for less reps. Run for longer distances or run sprints. Go for a high rocks training class. You can literally do anything. You are stronger than you think. And it is also the best time to drink pre-workout and caffeine, okay? Because you are already physically stronger. Having caffeine will give you that extra boost and help you capitalize on that beast mode energy. Okay, let's talk about food. Think of summer foods, light and hydrating with cooling ingredients. So think of fresh salads with tomatoes, tuna, chickpeas, watermelon and mint, or make yourself a fruit smoothie, okay, using raspberries or strawberries, for example. Eat some light carbs like quinoa with vegetables lightly cooked or raw, for example, red bell peppers, cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. So this helps clear out extra estrogen and support the liver because your metabolism also kind of slows down a little during this phase. So light meals will help you stay energized and glowing. An extra tip during this phase is to drink some lemon or ginger water. This will help you stay hydrated and make your skin glow. Again, if you're seed cycling this phase, you need to eat, again, flax seeds and pumpkin seeds. Hello again, boyfriends. Congrats if you stayed until now, because this phase will probably be your favorite too. Apart from the fact that she might be feeling extra sexy, she would love to get dressed up and be taken out on a date. So this is the perfect timing to pull out that text message that says, hey babe, be ready at 7, wear that tight red dress that I love so much, and then meet her at the door with a bouquet of flowers. I mean, a girl can dream, right? No, but we're setting the bar high, okay? So tell her she looks amazing, take her out on that date, plan social activities, and don't forget to use protection, okay? Moving on to the last phase, the luteal phase. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the longest one, and it can really be divided into 2 parts because it lasts 10 to 14 days. So after ovulation, your progesterone increases and cortisol sensitivity increases as well, which means that your body can easily get stressed. And this is your inner autumn phase. So you might want to nest a little bit more. You might feel more introverted. And the week before your period, you might feel more emotional or overwhelmed, okay? That's PMS, premenstrual syndrome. And you're not crazy, okay? Your hormones are shifting. So prioritize self-care and definitely don't overschedule. In terms of workouts, like I said, it's kind of a two-part game. So in the first half of your luteal phase, you might feel a slight dip in energy and strength. So, continue as normal, go to the gym, go to that Pilates class, go running, etc. But don't go full-on beast mode. Then the second half, which is the week before your period, well, you're gonna feel it, okay? The weights will be super heavy. Those 3 kilometers might feel like 6. So definitely don't stress about it. Take it easy, lower the weights, and go for more reps, okay? This is called volume training. And maybe reduce your running distance. Personally, if I really feel down, I'll skip the gym altogether. Yeah, I know. Don't come for me. But I will replace it with an at-home yoga session or simply some stretching. During this phase, your recovery is slower, so pushing too hard can potentially backfire. So listen to your body and prioritize low intensity training, okay? Like walking 10,000 steps a day. I really try to do that minimum every day, especially on days when I'm not going to the gym or if I'm on a rest day. Setting yourself as a goal to walk more is a great thing anyway. And in Alyssa Vitti's book, she actually says that during the luteal phase, due to high cortisol, your body is kind of like in a fight or flight mode. So if you push too hard in your workouts, your body will go into survival mode and actually turn off muscle building and turn on fat storage. So we want the exact opposite. So that's just something to think about. Okay, let's talk about food. During the luteal phase, your metabolism actually speeds up, so you're actually burning more calories just by doing nothing. So in order to avoid having these like insane cravings before your period, okay, you know what I'm talking about, you actually need to eat bigger portions. Think about eating 200 to 300 extra nourishing calories in order to feel your best and to avoid binge eating. So focus on magnesium-rich foods, warm and slow digesting carbs. Think of brown rice, sweet potatoes, paired with salmon or eggs, which are packed with healthy fats. For vegetables, think of cooked leafy greens like cabbage or some cauliflower. Think of cooking your foods. In this phase, we also want to eat warming meals instead of cold salads, okay? In terms of fruit, think of bananas, pears, and apples. Again, not blended in smoothies, but maybe more in some warm oats or a comforting apple crumble maybe. That sounds amazing actually. I'm actually starting my luteal phase today, so anyway. Okay, lastly, if you're doing seed cycling again, just sprinkle on your porridge or bowls some sunflower seeds and sesame seeds. And in any phase, you can eat some chia seeds or hemp seeds to add extra protein or some extra fiber when you feel like it. Also, again, if you are having some sweet cravings and you don't want to eat a full pint of chocolate ice cream, you know how it is? Well, I recommend eating some dark chocolate, which is high in magnesium and won't unbalance your blood sugar levels too much. But the ice cream will definitely fuck up your blood sugar levels. So keep in mind, ladies, these cravings we have the week before our period, if we give in to them, it might make our period worse and it might cause more painful period cramps. So I know it's hard, okay? I know. But if you focus on complex carbs instead of simple carbs that you can find in cake, biscuits, etc., you will feel so much better and you might not have these cravings at all. Okay, last thing concerning nutrition is super important. And again, I'll probably get lots of hate for this, but please stop coffee or caffeine and even alcohol, especially the week before your period. This helps reduce the uncomfortable feelings of PMS, and your body will literally thank you when you start bleeding. As we discussed, during the menstrual phase, coffee can also worsen period cramps. So just keep that in mind, you guys, okay? Don't reach for that pre-workout before the gym, even if you have low motivation, okay? I know it's hard. You're probably not going to be pushing for PRs anyway, so don't waste your money or effort on something that's not even gonna serve you in the future, okay? Okay, let's talk about our amazing boyfriends. Are you still there? Did you enjoy these last 2 weeks? Yeah? When your girlfriend was acting normal and loving on you? Well, buckle up because it's pretty much over for you now. Anyway, yeah, good luck with that. No, but seriously, you'll notice your girlfriend seemed to be getting a little bit more and more depressed every day from now on. So starting around day 17-ish of the cycle, okay, don't worry, that's totally normal. It's our sweet, sweet progesterone taking over. So definitely be aware that she won't feel as confident. She's probably feeling bloated a lot and feeling kind of low energy. So just go along with it and plan maybe for date nights in sort of activities. Don't overschedule with social events she has to go to with you. Tell her she looks beautiful. Let her complain or vent without jumping in and giving her solutions or trying to fix it, okay? We hate that. Just let us complain. We know what to do, okay? We just need to bitch about it first. So yeah, be patient with us. And also, we're sorry for being annoying in advance. Again, thank you for your service. Okay, so this wraps up the 4 phases, you guys. Wow, that was a lot, right? I know, it's definitely not easy, but don't worry, you will get the hang of it pretty soon. Also, I just wanted to clarify something. You might be thinking, but Emma, what if I have a huge presentation during the luteal phase and not when I'm ovulating? Or what if I have a big event on my period, that's not the optimal time, I can't change it, etc., etc. So again, just to be super clear, women can do anything at any time of their cycle, okay? We are not some little fragile little human being, okay? We can literally do anything a man can do and better. That's not the point to take away from this. What you need to keep in mind is that if you have a big presentation the week before your period, okay, at a time where you're not naturally magnetic and can maybe talk in front of a bunch of people with less ease. So this just means that it will require more energy from you to present in the luteal phase rather than the ovulation phase. So obviously, you can't always control when those events occur, okay? So what you need to take away from this is simply being aware, okay? I have this big presentation coming up. I'm like super drained, but I don't have the choice. So I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna crush it. And then afterwards, I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna practice some extra self-care. Take a bath, spend some time in bed reading by myself, etc. So the idea is when these sorts of things happen is you just have to compensate with self-care and listening to your body in order to not burn out, quite frankly. And when you can control when you give those presentations, for example, well, now you're aware of when you will be in your prime of your negotiation skills, and you'll be able to anticipate and maybe set a date that is most suitable for you. So same thing for movie nights. Make sure to plan these at the end of your cycle because you'll know that around that time you might not feel like going out or something. So this is not this super strict rule, it's actually a great tool. You need to see it as something that we can use as women so that we don't feel drained all the time and tired and feel like we can't do anything right, etc., etc. So there you go. So the last part of this episode is, where do I start? So much information, so many things to do, and by no means you have to do everything at once. You can even do nothing. Knowledge is always a great way to start. But for those who do want to dip their toes into the cycle syncing method, I recommend thinking in weeks. That makes it so much more simple, in my opinion. So think of week 1, this equals your menstrual phase. Week 2, this equals your follicular phase. And week 3, well, this is kind of your ovulation, but going into the luteal phase, since the ovulation phase lasts only a few days, I rarely count it as a full week, especially as the luteal phase is pretty long. So think of the first part of week 3 as your ovulation phase, and the second part of week 3 is the beginning of the luteal phase. And then week 4 is obviously the second half of your luteal phase, as well as the week before your period. So then once you know which week you're in, start by picking just one thing you want to focus on. Maybe you want to start with meals and start switching out different types of carbs each week instead of eating rice or pasta every day. Or maybe you want to start with workouts. Start playing around with intensity. Crank the intensity and effort up and down depending on where you are in your cycle, and really try and tap into what your body is telling you. I'm not talking about, oh, I feel kind of lazy to work out today. I guess I'll just rest then. Yeah, no, don't mistake laziness for what your body needs. There's a big difference of not feeling like working out, and feeling lazy, and noticing that your nervous system being actually fatigued and being so in tune with your body that you realize working out and pushing yourself will actually do more harm than good. So, let's just not make too many excuses for ourselves, ladies, okay? If you have irregular cycles, no worries. This method has actually helped many women find a regular cycle again. And this could be you in a few months of cycle syncing. So start with trying to identify your dominant phase. Look at your mood fluctuations, your energy levels. You can also look at discharge consistency. Once you've figured that out, try implementing the weekly rotation we just talked about. So if you notice clear signs of the luteal phase, start there and do 7 days of luteal habits, meals, and workouts, then 7 days of menstrual phase practices, 7 days of follicular, and then 7 days of ovulatory practices. If you're experiencing irregular cycles, just know that it doesn't mean that you're broken or anything, okay? It just means that your body might need a little support to return to balance. So don't forget to track your cycle. I guess that's the most important step. I use the Stardust app. This is not sponsored, guys. I wish it was, but I genuinely love that app. If you like it too and have been using it, DM me so we can add each other on there, and be cycle syncing sisters. What I love about all that we've discussed today and with this method of seasons and cycle is that as women, we can literally never get bored. We're always changing. Our strengths, our brains, everything is always changing, and it allows us to flow in and out of different fulfilling life phases. And yeah, it's not always easy, but you always find ways to make it easier on yourself. And for me, it's definitely been cycle syncing. It has changed my life for the better. It has made my relationship better. It has brought me closer to many women in life with whom I've discussed this fascinating topic. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really tried to pack it with as many useful tips as I could. I hope it wasn't too heavy. I also hope that you now feel empowered as women and feel enlightened by all of the amazing things our bodies can do. And maybe start implement some of the tools I gave you in this episode. Send this to your boyfriends. They need to hear this. Send this to your moms, your sisters, everyone needs to know this vital information. Don't forget to download my free ebook where you can find all of the information I gave on here and more, as well as a monthly workout plan example and template following the 4 phases of the cycle. And same thing for meals. You have 4 weeks worth of meal ideas for lunch and dinners following our divine feminine cycle. So if you found this information on here useful, don't forget to subscribe to the pod and follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at justm.powered. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.